I could just hear some of the listeners saying to themselves, that all sounds great, Renee. I wish that I did all that, but I am so busy with life that I know I should, but I don't get around to those professional development things to keep me up to speed with the changes, etc. How do you make that a priority?
I think it's just scheduling it into your calendar. It's just making sure that you schedule it in so that you have the time.
So it's proactive.
Yeah, just like exercising, right? You're not going to exercise unless you make a deliberate attempt to put it into your schedule and say, this is what I'm going to do. And then you get it scheduled and
it happens because it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
And you do the same thing with some of this professional development.
Yes. Yep. But I mean, with the support of I've been very fortunate, and a lot of the leaders that I've worked with have been very, very supportive of that and give you the time to, if you need to take some time out of your other work schedule, building that in so that you have the time to do that, whether it's attending a conference or going to a training or even doing a webinar, something online, or a tutorial type of upskilling program. LinkedIn has some awesome free tools that you can utilize and sign up to learn and keep your skills up to date.
And you would argue from an organizational perspective, there's return on investment of encouraging your employees to spend time doing that?
Oh, absolutely, right? I mean, again, if we don't stay on top of our technology, we're just going to keep spinning our wheels and staying, we won't progress any further. So, and with the talent shortage, that's one of the ways that companies are trying to fill that gap, is by using technology, using more automation, figuring out ways to do things with less.
All right. Well, I got to give you a softball here. You are the Vice President of Marketing and Investor Relations.
Yes.
Why would I want to join the New North?
Why would you want to join the New North? Well, New North, like I said before, economic development is so important to creating a regional brand. And we will do whatever we can to help you personally and your organization build your brand, as well as build the brand of Northeast Wisconsin, so that we can attract top talent to our region, and we can retain the people who are here and make sure that we're holding on to those really bright stars that we have already in our companies and our businesses.
Okay. And that responds to the marketing part. What does it mean to be Vice President and Investor Relations?
Well, we do really try to touch base with our investors multiple times a year, making sure that they understand the work and the
investors in the New North.
Yes, the investors in the New North, so they understand the impact that their dollars are making in growing our region and bringing people to the New North. So we just released our New North annual report. It's available online on our website. It was also in the latest edition of Insight Publication, which is a business magazine for Northeast Wisconsin. So in the January issue, it's also inserted in that. And it gives you a good summary of the work that we are doing. But again, it's a great way to connect with other corporate leaders, leadership development opportunities, business development opportunities. We have staff on our staff that are focused on business development and site selection, to bring companies to our area and show them potential locations. We have someone who's in charge of talent development and highlighting all of the talent attraction and development opportunities that are out there to help with the building the pipeline for employees for our different industries. And then we are bringing on a brand new DEI director who is going to focus on the diversity, equity, inclusion type of programs that we're involved in. And we actually just also hired on another person who manages the alliances. We have some business alliances that we have we have started to manage, and that includes the new digital alliance, which I think you're very familiar with, and the new construction alliance. So we also work very closely with the Northeast Wisconsin Manufacturers Alliance. So these are all other similar organizations, but very focused, and we work really closely with them to make sure that we're not being redundant in what we're working on, and that we are kind of helping each other further our goals and objectives together, and all going in the same direction.
Many organizations many parts of the country don't have something like the New North. How did the New North get started? How did this thing happen?
There actually are I believe, 8 other regional organizations for our state alone, for the state of Wisconsin.
That are like the New North?
Yes, but
Okay.
they represent the other regions of the state. And so there is actually, there always usually is a state-led economic development organization. Yes. Regionally, there might not be, but a lot of them are starting to develop, understanding, again, that there could be differentiators within those parts of the state that they want to highlight. So,
and you're hiring someone in the DEI area. Why?
Well, we've been working on it for a while, and a lot of different organizations and companies have been working on it, understanding that there's some work to do in that area. We don't have a lot of diversity in our region.
So there's work to do for the New North as a region, because
Yes.
we don't have a lot of diversity, so the equity inclusion is a little bit tougher.
Exactly. It's something that when we do have people, this is another thing that we've worked on, is asking people of color that have moved here, what are your biggest challenges? What is the struggle? And it's hard, when you're not feeling like you have people like you, that you can, that you feel comfortable with. And so being able to create opportunities to make people feel welcome, included, give them the same kind of opportunities that others have, and make them feel welcome and recognized, is something that a lot of companies are really prioritizing right now throughout our whole region. And to make sure that we are all know what each other are doing and try to encourage that, and again, build that regional brand and build all of those things together, we have created this kind of regional hub for people to work together on that.
And the lack of diversity is sort of a compounding thing. Because there's a lack of diversity, it's hard to get.
Exactly.
Because there's not a group that's like me there. So
exactly.
Where
right.
would I get my hair cut? Where would I go to church?
Right.
Where would I?
Exactly. And it's growing. It's getting better, but it's, we need to be conscious. And actually, it's the good thing is there's more conversation around it than ever before. There's more dialogue. There's more awareness. And so people are really trying to do as much as they can to be more inclusive, to be more welcoming, to be more recognize some of the barriers and challenges that some people of, historically marginalized people have faced.
What else is important about the New North? What should a business leader who's thinking about the New North as an area know?
Well, we work very closely with the state in helping to bring other types of funding to our area, to help with things like broadband, to help with things like talent attraction, to help with things like small business development and innovation and startups and that kind of thing. So that's another reason to kind of collaborate, is because we are helping to pool all those resources together and create a bigger impact through that.
I saw recently there was some discussion about Amtrak potentially expanding from Chicago, Milwaukee to Milwaukee up through the Fox Cities into Green Bay. Now, is that something the New North would play some leadership role in?
Potentially. It is something that we definitely help to highlight any type of innovation or any type of infrastructure that might be happening in our region. We've played a huge role in the broadband development. We actually
talk about that. What's that mean?
So broadband is basically improving the internet access for all within our whole region. And a lot of our rural areas have really struggled with, and sometimes even urban areas struggle with adequate broadband, not just broadband access, but speed.
I can relate. I live in the country,
Yeah.
and I have repeatedly had to, up until very recently, had to go to campus to do a meeting that I could have done at home because the internet just wasn't capable of supporting.
Yes.
Fortunately, now broadband has reached me, but
Yeah.
so how does the New North play a role in that?
Well, my colleague Barbara Koldos was really championing the effort, but for our organization. But we actually hosted a huge broadband study where we tried to determine where all the gaps were in broadband and try to improve the maps, because there's a lot of gaps and inaccuracies in our broadband maps. That happened about a year ago, and now the fruits of that are coming to be, because we are more prepared to apply for additional federal and state funding for enhancing the infrastructure here in our region, so that we can make sure that everybody has access and not just a few.
Well, as one who relatively recently got broadband to the house, thank you.
You're welcome.
One of the mental images of the New North may be a little bit on the conservative side, a little bit on the, okay, they do manufacturing, it's sort of, the very sort of stable stuff. But there isn't a lot of cool stuff that happens in the New North.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a big thing that we're trying to highlight, right? So we do have a lot of manufacturing here in our region. It's one of our top industries, but it's so growing, and advanced manufacturing obviously is kind of the lingo that is being used now to show how technology and innovation is really changing manufacturing. One of the things we're doing is launching a Cool Stuff campaign. That campaign is another talent attraction and retention campaign. We are actually going to be doing a digital marketing campaign outside the state of Wisconsin to try to highlight the cool people, products, and places of our region. So
there's cool stuff going on?
Yes, there's a lot of cool stuff. So, and I know you're going to be speaking to some of the people that are involved in the products that we're featuring for cool stuff.
But give us a little preview. Give us an example. What cool stuff is happening in the New North?
We have, a lot of people don't realize some of the products that are actually made here. So if you've ever played the game Skee Ball, they actually have created in-home games that they are marketing as well, and they are made right here in the Green Bay area, in the New North area. So they're going to be one of the products we're featuring.
So it's a home version of Skee Ball is now available.
Exactly, for like rec rooms and things like that.
Oh, cool.
But they still do the arcade games, and they have a whole list of different types of cool games that they develop and build right here in our region that a lot of people didn't realize are made here. Of course, the fire trucks and the new electric fire trucks that Pierce Manufacturing and Oshkosh Corp have been recognized for, that is another cool product that we're going to be featuring. Some of the other things that people don't realize is we do a lot with sustainability and really high-tech energy, clean energy type of development right here in the New North. So we're hoping to highlight some of that, like some of the microgrid technology and things like that, where they actually take solar energy and they store that energy on batteries so that you're able to actually disconnect from the grid and operate independent of the grid. So this is really technology that is taking off throughout the world, and it's the kind of the wave of the future. You've heard people say that pretty soon everyone's going to be driving electric vehicles, and so that whole industry is just taking off, and a lot of it's happening right here in our region.
Well, cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. And then we're going to be highlighting some of the other cool places here in the region, as well as cool people, and we'll save those up maybe for a different time.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
As you've been on your leadership journey, if you were to think of the 2 or 3 things that you've acquired and thought about and learned over your leadership journey, what would be those things you'd share with young leaders as they're trying to progress through their leadership?
I think just making sure that you stay connected with other business leaders in the area and learn I've found that I can learn pretty much something from any person I meet. So whether it's a business leader, a coworker, or a neighbor, there's so many things you can learn by keeping those networks going, getting involved in the community so that it's more than just about work, right? It's about building a community. It's about being part of a community. That is something that is really special about our area and that I've really appreciated. And I think just taking a chance, allowing yourself to take a chance, and allowing yourself to fail, because if you don't do that, you can never grow. It's the growth always seems to come from the failures and the missteps, even more so than the successes. So those are some of the things that I've learned throughout my
So stay
career.
connected, take chances, and it's okay to fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've learned from your failures.
Yes. And I think, and I think leadership is changing, and which is really nice. Like the kind of the old school way of leadership is just, it's morphing into understanding that if we want to grow and we want to get better, we have to first of all trust our people, and we also need to take chances if we want to get anywhere or make any type of advancement.
So through your career, you've been willing to take chances, you've been willing to fail. How do you approach a failure? How do you learn from that?
I think I've learned that, everybody, first of all, everybody has a different style in how they work and how they communicate. So I've learned to both give other people grace as well as give myself grace. So realizing...
Well, the second sometimes being harder.
Yes. Nobody's perfect, right? And sometimes we just beat ourselves up so much when we make a mistake, or we hold things against others because they do things differently than we do, or they think about things differently than you do. And I think just taking that step back and trying to appreciate what people bring to the table and their special skill set and their special unique perspective, as well as your own, can help us all come together and create an even stronger, vibrant workforce.
Well, thank you, Renee Torzala. Thank you very much for coming in today and sharing some wonderful information about the New North. And I look forward to working with you in the New North arena as we move forward with these podcasts and watch the region grow and develop.
Thank you.
Thank you.